Hello fellow AGD coders, and welcome back to another video. And today we are returning to Screen Magic, and some of you may have seen the previous video on this. By all means go back and watch it if you haven't. In that video I only did it with horizontal effect, but this time I've now coded it to work with all different directions. So to begin, let's look at a regular game here. This is John Blythe's game Rubicon, which features a very large maze, and as you can see it uses the standard AGD method for going from one level to another, which is to use a flip screen. So the screens basically load in and the sprite gets moved, and as you can see there, that's the usual way. So let's take a look at the way that it's done now with Screen Magic implemented. And as you'll see here now, and it works particularly well with a game like this, the screens will actually load in from the top or the bottom in this case, or from the left or the right. If we go over here, you'll see that they basically load. And it's exactly the same, the screens are exactly the same, but the difference is that they're being loaded in with an effect that basically lets you see a bit more of the maze. And I think it does add a little bit to the game there. It certainly helps. Okay, so let's look at how to implement it. It's really very straightforward. We'll go back now to the previous version where Screen Magic isn't implemented. As you can see here, we've got 2,670 bytes, so that's plenty of room. You're going to need about 700 bytes to do this. So if you have less than that, you'll have to try to figure out a way to reserve more space, maybe reduce the number of sprites or objects or something like that. But 700 is the minimum requirement. You then go to the miscellaneous menu here and you switch the pointer editor on. Remember, you need one of the more recent versions of AGDX to be able to do this. You then go down to the sprite menu, make sure it's highlighted here, and we're going to press Control 4. I'm going to press it 7 times in this case because that's going to reserve 700 bytes. So Control 4 will reserve 100 bytes and Control 2 will reserve 1 byte. So you can reserve exactly how many you want. Once you've done that, press C to go to the screen editor and then come back out, and that will refresh the memory and it will tell you how much you've got left there. So you'll need to do that step. That's also important. Once you've done that, you're ready to load the binary file, which will be provided in a link below via Dropbox. So load the binary in. As you can see here, it's got the number of where you need to load it in this case, 36944. As you can see there, it's 691 bytes. So we basically load that in, and that is now loaded in just below the sprites and will stay there quite happily. Following this, we will open the poke file and run it, and this will basically run a patch. So we have to basically highlight all of these just like this, and that will basically change the code for screen up, screen left, screen down, and screen right, and it will basically redirect it to use our code. But as you can see here, it's not quite working yet, and that's because there's one more step that you need to follow. You need to go into the events editor, go to player 0, and basically open the code and then save it again. And this is going to compile it so that the calls that we've made to screen left, screen right, and so on will be compiled, and they will now work, as you can see there. So that's working perfectly. We should also test the left and right. And there we go. So this basically uses screen left and screen right, screen up, screen down commands, so we don't need to make any assembly calls within the code, and so it's a very quick and convenient way of making it work. It is possible to still use the original code, the original screen up, screen down. Perhaps if you wanted to do outside of a level, maybe with scrolling, and inside with normal, then you can use assembly calls to do that, and I'll put a note in the release notes there to let you know if you want to know how to do that. But as you saw there, yeah, it's just no change in the code needed, just need to do the pokes and recompile. Alright, so yeah, that's how it works. I really look forward to seeing how some of you use this in games. Please post on the Facebook site if you do. It's always nice to see. And I'll be back with another video very soon, hopefully. And remember, like and subscribe as always. Keep enjoying AGD and of course the Spectrum. Happy coding. Thanks a lot. Bye bye.